Okay, this isn't really the video I thought I would be making. We are going to an appointment. I don't even know where to start. So with our first miscarriage, I did it naturally. It ended up taking 7.5 weeks from when the baby stopped growing to when I actually passed the baby. So we knew it would take a while for me to pass our second baby, but we have passed that like 7.5 week mark and I haven't had any bleeding, any spotting. I've had like cramping and weird feelings and like kind of like off and on, but nothing like it just feels like nothing has happened. I obviously don't want any sort of like infection or more problems, so I've kind of been freaking out because it just feels like my body's not going to let go of our baby, and I just like have been like spiraling of all the issues that it could cause. We are going to go to the doctor and just see what they say. I know that it can take up to 8 weeks or maybe even more to pass a baby naturally, but I also like, I don't know, I don't have any signs of infection, which is good. Things aren't like sensitive to the touch, or like I don't have a fever or anything like that, but it just definitely is kind of a bummer as we get closer to Christmas. And it's just, obviously I didn't want a miscarriage in the first place, but the one thing I did want was to pass our baby naturally again, and I just don't know if that's gonna be what we'll be able to do this time around. So yeah, I'm just kind of, I don't know, there's a lot to process through, but I've been like waiting to talk about this because I know a lot of people like don't like to wait this long, or not a lot of people choose to go a natural route because it does like prolong the process, and obviously there can be risks involved and stuff like that. Obviously take all of this with like, you know your body best, like you make your own decisions with like this type of thing. This was definitely what I wanted to do, especially since I already done it. I'm even kind of nervous like going to the hospital telling them how long I've waited for, because I think again it just feels so long, even though I know that the process can just naturally take a long time. I just think we're so used to things going so fast and like instantly being done that it's just hard to think about things taking so long. But yeah, I don't know. It is the next day and we have our D&C scheduled for today. Obviously they were very much like, we should, you know, get you in. It's hard because again, like I waited this amount of time for the first time and obviously nothing's happening. So yeah, so literally the next day, 1 o'clock, we got it scheduled. I haven't been able to eat since midnight and I can't drink after 8 a.m. That's kind of like really all the prep that I need to do, and then we go in an hour early and they're gonna, I don't really know entirely what they're gonna do, but just like prep everything. And they said the actual surgery only takes like half an hour. Yeah, so not really what I expected, but also at the same time like what I feel like needs to happen at this point, obviously physically and then just like emotionally. One of the most frustrating parts is just that like I didn't want to have to get a D&C. Like I really wanted to do it naturally, especially since I did it naturally the first time. I really preferred that, and especially knowing what to expect the second time around, I just thought it would be such a redeeming experience. I kind of can't believe still that this is how this is ending. At the same time, I'm just so glad that it's ending. It's just been so long. I'm tired of worrying that I could possibly be getting infected or something could be going wrong. That's just been like my biggest fear so far. So just exhausted. It's been emotional. Like I obviously haven't been showing everything. This is kind of just like a different kind of vlog, but I was telling my mom it kind of feels like finding out that we miscarried for the first time again, where you just feel this like deep sense of sadness. Like you kind of grieve it all over again. I've also just never had any kind of surgery before or anything this involves. Like it is like a very invasive thing, and I don't like that. Obviously that's part of the reason why I wanted to do it naturally, was like I wanted just my body to take care of it and not have to like have things be so like intrusive and have the risks of those type of things. Like I'd rather take the risks of my body doing it than someone else doing it. It feels very bittersweet, I guess, you know. It's like I'm sad and like frustrated that it has to end this way, but I'm also just glad that it's ending. AJ and I read a devotional last night. I've never had a devotional be so specific to what I was going through. It felt literally like God wrote it for us in this time. You know, I've been telling AJ, like, I've been having a hard time feeling like God is hearing me, and I've never felt that way in my life. It just feels like I don't know if anyone's listening when I pray, and I know that's not true. It's just this feeling that I've like never really like felt before, just like God being like so far away. But like to have a moment like that, I know that he's very close. You know, I've never had like these like deep and painful of prayers before. I've been meaning to show you guys this devotional. I got it at Target, or maybe I did already talk about this, I can't remember, but I've really been liking it. The devotional we read talked about Hannah. It says, have you ever prayed and waited for something while watching someone else get the very thing you've longed for? It's even more painful when that person flaunts their blessing in your face. If anyone knows the heartbreak of patiently waiting while also enduring someone's cruelty, it was Hannah from 1 Samuel. Hannah desired to be a mother, but continued day after day with no children. Like, that was like the intro to our devotional last night. And then this little part, it just felt like it was written like to us. It says, but friend, with great tenderness, I want to bear witness to your pain today and say that whatever you are believing God for, I am believing for it with you. God hears you and sees you and is moved by your tears. The miracle he offers us doesn't always bring us the answers we so desperately want, but God promises to remain near to us and to continue working in us. And that is still a miracle. It just may not be the one you've been expecting. And then the other part that I liked was when Hannah eventually had a son. It said before that, it said, in due time, Hannah conceived and bore a son. So Asia and I were talking a bit about like in due time and like why that's important and mentioned in the Bible. It's going to happen in God's time, in the right time, in due time, when it's time. And so that brought me a lot of peace, because it kind of takes the pressure off of me like trying to figure out like when this is all gonna happen and what's gonna happen and everything. So yeah, it's been a rough like day or like night. I didn't sleep much last night at all. I definitely get my cramping more at night, and like it was pretty bad last night, which like obviously freaked me out. I was really restless and just like tossing and turning, and also just thinking about the surgery. I think I was up every hour. It just was such a long night. The other thing too that they wanted was me to just wear like comfy, easy to take off clothes. So I just have like sweats and like a crew neck and shirt on. Luckily AJ can come, so that's really good. It's not how I wanted it to go, but it's going, I feel like, as well as it could for the situation. I still feel like grateful for it, and just that I haven't had any like obvious signs of infection or anything. It's just been me more in my head like freaking out. But yeah, this definitely was not the vlog I thought this would be today. It just is not at all what I thought. I know that I'm not the only one that goes through a D&C during like some specific holiday event. You know, of course it happens to be around Christmas time, and that just, again, just makes it all the more depressing. But yeah, no matter when you have a miscarriage or a procedure like this, like it's just as sad as like whenever it happens, whether it happens during a holiday or not. Yeah, I kind of wanted to go through a little bit of the experience. Everything went great. Doctor said it went perfect. There's no infection, which is such an answer to prayer. At least, you know, so far, it's like so good. Everything went well, which was exactly what we were praying for. I was definitely crying in the waiting room. I could hardly like say my name when they asked like what I was there for, confirming my name and birth and stuff like that. I was pretty like emotional, like in the whole like lead up to everything. I know a lot of people say with D&Cs is one of the better parts of the experience because they feel so cared for, and it's also kind of on your terms too. But I would say that that also was our experience. I felt so cared for, like especially at the place we went to, like above and beyond. Obviously it's something they do every day, but it felt like for them, they were treating it like it was like, this was like the first time that they've ever, you know, gone through this. They understood that it was my first time. Especially our doctor, he was amazing. He checked in often. The nurses were great. But yeah, I had never had an IV put in me to like stay. That was like a part that was super annoying because I had told her to go on my left left arm, and she was like, oh, like it'll be fine, you know, your vein looks good on this side. And it's not so much about the vein, like I just cannot handle IVs, getting my blood drawn. I've never been good at it. I just like can't handle it mentally. So I was like, it's more of a mental thing. But she tried it, but it hurt so bad. Something went wrong. I don't know what it was, and she didn't really know why it wasn't working, but it was so painful. So she ended up going on the other side, and that part worked great, flawless, barely felt it. So that was kind of annoying because I already dread IVs, and so to have it go wrong the first time, I was just like, ah. They had me have like the gown on, the socks, the hairnet, everything, and just kind of got me checked in. I had to sign things. They did my blood pressure, kind of went over things. The anesthesiologist came in. He was great. He just felt very like down to earth, friendly. Like he was like my brother or something. AJ was in the room with me for a bit. At first he wasn't, and then he was like back in, and you know, our doctor had asked if there was any questions that we had. And again, I was just emotional through the whole time in the waiting room and getting like ready. Like everything was just so heavy, and I just kept thinking like, this is the last time I'm gonna be carrying our baby Sunny. But at the same time, it was just like time, you know? So eventually they had AJ leave, and they were gonna like wheel me out, and I was like, am I gonna be one of those people like in the shows that are like wheeled to the operation room? And sure enough, I was. It was just so crazy. So yeah, they wheeled me out. The operating room like felt like going into like a kitchen or something, like an industrial kitchen. It was very cold, very like sterile, but like kind of like not like messy, but like just like a lot of things going on. And it was very bright, and they brought me into the room that I was supposed to be operating in, and I was trying not to look around because I was like, I don't really want to know like what is all going to be going on. But yeah, the anesthesiologist was there. He was very friendly. He was like, I'm here, like here, we're gonna do this and this. And first they give you like a cocktail to make you feel like less stressed, and then they give you like the full whatever. But it was so weird. Like he said that he gave me like the, you know, relaxing one, and I saw it go in, and I'm like, okay. And eventually I could kind of feel it like hit me, and it's so weird because I don't even remember like closing my eyes or like going to sleep, but I did at some point. And later on the doctor woke me up. I was very confused, but AJ was there, and I was still a little loopy and kind of like oh, like kind of out of it a little bit, but still there. And he said everything went perfect, everything went great, there was no infection, like everything was good. Yeah, I just thanked everybody, like everyone was so nice. I thought that I would feel like empty when I woke up, like not having like my baby in there in me anymore, but I think because we waited so long and I knew it was just time, we knew it was going to happen one way or another, like in sometime this weekend, whatever. I just had hoped it would be naturally, but I was surprised that I didn't feel like as emotional as I did like leading up to it. I definitely felt relieved. Physically, I felt like there was like bricks like on my like uterus. Nothing crazy, like kind of like your normal cramping, I guess, but it felt heavier. It felt heavy. I could definitely feel myself like bleeding if I like moved a little bit or like laughed or anything. And he said that was normal, and I wasn't too like surprised, but nothing felt like crazy painful or anything. Yeah, and then they just kind of waited for a while for me to have my blood pressure be good, all that stuff. And then they, you know, let me go, and here we are. So that's kind of like what I'm experiencing right now. I definitely, as a little bit tough time has passed and I've like eaten something, like I don't feel that like heavy feeling. I do feel from time to time just like soreness, a little bit of cramping, and I'm wearing a pad now. I kind of still am in shock. Like as you guys know, like this happened really fast, and I'm grateful that it did, but it just was like a whirlwind. But I am just surprised at how much like peace I have over this process. I can see why people do a D&C. It is still very scary. It's very much like a surgery or like, you know, like an invasive thing that's going on, but it went very well. And I feel like they just do them all the time, and it seems like something that's very nailed down, like how it goes. So yeah, we just feel so grateful that nothing crazy happened. Everything went smooth. I feel so grateful that I'm not feeling anything weird. I just feel like I've been feeling so many weird things, and with surgery, like I just was worried I'd feel like I got punctured or something. But so far, I mean, it's only been a couple hours since we got home, or since the surgery, but so far I feel good. I'm really glad that we did this. I felt like it was the right timing. It felt like the right thing to do, but it didn't make it any more hard or frustrating. My parents are coming over tonight. They're gonna bring supper, so I'm excited about that. It would be nice to have supper and to just kind of like chat and like hang out and have something to take our minds off things. Oddly, like, I don't know, I'm just, right now, I'm surprised at just how much lighter I feel, how much like relief I feel, and I don't want it to go unnoticed that like God definitely like answered our prayer. You know, you're never guaranteed anything in life. It's such a blessing, and I just like, I never want to forget that, because that was like my biggest worry. And it feels like closure, kind of like when we pass naturally, like it felt like closure. It feels like things are done, I'm ready to move on. I feel like I got a new start, I can start over. And obviously, you know, there's more recovery, like have to get my cycles back and everything, but I just feel so relieved that this is over now. It's just been so long, like 2 months is a long time to wait. I don't think I could do it any other way, you know, like I wanted to pass our baby naturally. That's what I wanted, and that's what I waited for, and it just, something wasn't right this time, so.